Hey, how you doing? This is me testing the audio. I don't think this is going to be in the podcast at all. But on the off chance it is, check this shit out. Alright. Um I'd like to dedicate this episode to Tony Shalhoub for literally no reason. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. Anyway, um this is the second time I've recorded this episode too of the yeah. I'm in my car still. I'm not driving this time because I didn't feel like driving. I'm just parked on the side of the road right now in like a little hiking area. Currently having a stare down with whoever this person is. Fucking just pulled up in front of me, I guess. But beyond that, I'm just kind of waiting for this guy to get out of the way now and fuck off so I can focus my brain. Yeah, second time I've recorded this. I bought a microphone that you can't see. It's attached to this thing. I'm also using the camera. Microphone I bought straight up didn't like. I think it just didn't sit well in the audio jack on my phone, in the fucking phone holder thing. So I'm just gonna do it all again. Let's hope it works this time. But I have notes that I can that I can read to help me try and keep it together. I might I might stitch in, yeah, depending on what I did earlier. I already recorded one intro for this on the first take that is gone now. But fuck it. Here's what it was. Hey, hey, hey. I don't know if this thing works that well, but I bought it, so I'm gonna try to use it. Anyway, welcome to the very, very improvised episode 2 of So I wanted to keep that because it also explained why the podcast is called The Nameless Podcast, because I couldn't think of one in the moment, and when I got it to an editing, I was like, it's just a nameless podcast. So that's the story behind that. But I think the main reason why that first recording failed was because I broke the rules. I'm sorry. I did it, and I did it shamelessly in the moment. But I paid the price. I tried recording an episode of the Sleepless, Nameless podcast while fully awake and everything. But today, I haven't slept, so we're back on track. And I am tired. Ooh boy. Let me show you, yeah, fuck it. Show you guys the river water I'm next to. Get the framing back. Yeah, something like that. And also, like, the episode had crackly audio and everything So it was just like straight up unlistenable too, which is a shame because I thought it was fun. I thought I had some good stories. Again, I have notes so I can retell them. But, like, it's always a shame. But I'm learning. So now hopefully this will sound better. Um, and I'm gonna probably have the end of the episode be me driving back home. So if at some point I just get cut off mid sentence and then pick back up wherever I left off at home, that's because in editing I discovered the audio did not sound good while driving. So that'll be at the end though. Um, the headings for the day of this podcast are we got some fandom ranting. I got 3 stories for you guys. One of which was one from my childhood where I almost died. Um, and it's just some other stuff that we'll get to throughout the way. Except for one thing that I didn't write down, but I just remembered right now, so we will start with that. Another childhood story, practically, I don't know if there's this, like, babyhood era in between childhood, babyhood. I don't know what categories children's fit into. Or how to say sentences without unnecessary S's, apparently. Um, Probably like 5 or something. It's diapers age. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know ages and how they fit together. But, me and my family were like going to some museum somewhere. And the only like distinct perspective memory I have comes in at the end. So all of it is just told to me, and that's all of the perspective I have of the story otherwise. But it was like diapers age. We were at some museum. Um, I had, I think, wandered off or been like out of eyesight for long enough to cause some trouble. Uh, and that manifested in the form of me wandering over to the fire alarm and just boop, pulling that bad boy down and having all of the alarms go off, obviously. Then my mom or dad rush over to me, pick me up, take us out as fast as we can because clearly there's no fire going on, or at the very least they don't trust little baby me to have discerned that there's a fire going on and that I need to pull that alarm. So we just fucking hightailed it out of there. And the very end memory I have of is me like sitting in the back. I see my own legs in the air, getting like diaper changed and just seeing like cops drive, not cops, just like fire engines driving behind my mom's head on an overpass towards the fire. So I started my crime spree at quite a young age, it would seem. Other than being a crime against God. No. Yeah. But another story I forgot wasn't on the notes was a time I swear to fucking God, accidentally stole a book from a Native American reservation because I was a fan of the series. And I'll just start the story now, pretty much. Sometime in 2014, 15, somewhere in between, I was guilt tripped into going on like a missionary type service trip for Native American, like, I don't remember what tribe they came from, uh, but just like people who are not being taken care of by our government because obviously, uh, so just like help build a little house, other things around. But at the place we were staying, there was the first book of the Aragon series, or the Inheritance series rather, which is a great fucking like quick dive into fandom, and then we'll hop back out. The Aragon books are very good. Um, they have one of the most cohesive magic systems I've ever been introduced to. That's just like understandable and logical. So it's like, oh yeah, yeah, with the rules you've presented me, magic makes sense. Other than the fact that some people can and just can't use it because of dragon and other shit. But that's not what the story's about. Good book series, go read them or listen to them on audiobook like I did. Uh, or, also like I did, steal one from fucking reservation accidentally because you haven't seen that book in probably 10 years, physical copy. So you just like pick it up and get reinvested into it fucking each day in like the downtime between working, just tearing through it, and then on the last day there, packing it into your bag so you can read it on the plane back because the stupid bitch leader's wife decided to change the rules that were all signed on and agreed to and kept our phones for the entire drive from wherever we were in Arizona back to like the Phoenix airport, which was like 3 hours, which denied me listening to the 2 albums I had just bought as well. So if you find yourself in that situation, yeah, don't do that. And also, don't bring travel sized and made for that specific event shampoo and conditioner because they'll only let you take it out of the state I live in to Arizona. But if you try to take that very same bottle back to this state, nah, gotta dump that shit. Throw it away. Can't have it. Could be a bomb. Except it was. They caught me. I would have gotten away with it too. No. I don't know if I should make jokes like that ever, especially when there's no one else here to laugh with me in the moment. So I'm just gonna drinky drink and move on. Um, but yeah, this is kind of be a well, until I called it out like I'm doing right now. This is a transition from hop off point of the Aragon books to the fandom talk of Lord of the Rings. My like probably most influential series on my taste for like fantasy and escapism. And just fucking like grand adventures and the hope that shit can get better. I don't know. Lord of the Rings is like my triumvirate of fiction is Lord of the Rings, the Warhammer 40k universe and Berserk by Kentaro Miura. Um, because like every there's a bird. Oh, there's no way I can manage. I'll try my best. Yeah, no, that truck that just drove by scared the bird away, and that bird was carrying my train of thought. So now I have to fucking. This isn't a bird at all. What the fuck? um, they're just really fucking good series. But, like, specifically, Lord of the Rings and Warhammer 40k are just, they have so much, like, lore, history, whatever you want to call it, behind, like, the universe that they exist in and created. Um, and I just fucking love it. I don't know why or how to begin to try and explain it, but history is cool sometimes. It's nice being like, this happened. And then you just gotta sit with that and realize that the current day doesn't seem as cool. But as someone who lived through a historical event, the coronavirus, which is still going on, honestly, I understand why the Greeks said, may you live in interesting times as an insult. Because interesting times need to fuck off. I need to have some fucking okay, good times that give you, like, sustainable living. But not in America, not in America, fuck my life. Yeah. The world of Lord of the Rings is very much bigger than what has been presented in, like, just the trilogy or the, like, Hobbit sequel trilogy. Which I don't think are bad, and I'll die on that hill. There's an unnecessary romance subplot, granted, but the rest pretty much takes from the Silmarillion just to fill in some context. And, like, if you don't already know, the Silmarillion is the actual, like, fucking history textbook type book that Tolkien wrote as well. I'm getting concerned that this camera is gonna die because it's getting closer to 1 bar. So if it does die at any point, then I'm gonna abruptly end this, I guess, because I don't think I can charge it here. Yeah, no, that cable's not gonna be long enough at all. And I definitely don't have... Yeah, no. So, trials and tribulations abound. Who's this asshole? But yeah, it's so fascinating because I'm pretty sure I haven't confirmed this and I don't know where I heard this, but I'm pretty sure the whole reason Tolkien made, like, the world of Lord of the Rings is because he just loved language so much that he just made up his own, and then that snowballed into making, like, the regional variant dialect. I don't know the process in which things happened. There was probably a world war at some point that involved, you know what I was trying to say. It's just cool. People who are creative inspire. Put that on a poster next to any other worthless quote that could be forgotten and not missed. Creative people inspire, dude. Wow. Do you get wet when it's raining? Any other wisdom you want to share with me? Um, and just like the cool things you can do in grand universes, like the one Tolkien and fucking Warhammer have. Like the best thing in Tolkien's world is probably hands up between the spider mother Ungoliant, who like essentially ate the sun, or Ancalagon the Black, who is a giant dragon who could literally hold. Like, pretend this is a mountain and this is actually his hand. Probably a bit more to scale, like, this is the whole mountain and, like, fucking huge. And that is not an exaggeration. They have an example in, like, the art for him, and he's palming a mountain. It's bullshit, and I love it. When he died, he fucking changed the geography of the world just with the impact crater. It's such stupid, over-the-top bullshit. Much like the orcs, spelled with a K, of the Warhammer 40k universe, who have they are essentially living shitposts given the power of God, because they reproduce like fungus. So as soon as one of them gets on the planet, there is no way to get rid of them. They will just keep, like, they'll spread and keep populating. They have a unparalleled psychic ability that grows stronger in mass, that none of them are aware of or know how to control, even if they were. But regardless of that, whatever they think is. An example is like things. Alright, you can't see that. Things that are red are faster if they are red, because they are red. A red car looks faster in our world. For an orc, a red car is faster. The, like, current war boss of the orc clans, or, like, whatever, is some amalgamation of... It was one orc leader who had his head, like, shot and, like, mostly just obliterated, who had, like, a fucking ravenous essential space cow type beast, half brain, like, surgically implanted, and then also just a bunch of robotic parts, and literally the rest of him was just cut off. They removed his head, fixed that part, and then stitched together just the best and biggest, like, body parts, and made a giant Frankenstein cyborg orc body, and then just fucking stapled the head on. And then it worked, because the doctor thought it would. And the other orcs were like, well, the doctor knows what he's doing, so it worked. How do you make that shit up? Someone did. And I fucking love it. The biggest orc is the strongest orc because he is big. Mwah. And there's things called the Necrons, which are like fucking ancient skeleton robot things who have their souls implanted into skeletons because of an outside of the galaxy, like, hive mind thing that will eat any, like, living matter and then assimilate it into a stronger version of itself, but tainted with that gene. So then the Necrons made themselves robots to deny them a food source. And also, like, before they were even on the scene, the Necrons were fucking, like, fighting the old gods of the universe, which fucking, like, I don't have time to get into that, but I also don't know the whole story with that. They also, the Necrons essentially have an old god trapped inside a crystal to use as a battery because deific power is eternal and like incomparable, pretty much. So like, all right, fucking, you're our slave now, and we're gonna harness you to make this fan blow on a hot day. Not exactly like that, because obviously, but I don't know. But all like they also are just, I don't know if I said this already, like heavily Egyptian motif themed in terms of like architecture and like some iconographies. And it's just so cool. It's so cool. I love it. And that's not even getting in. There's like probably 4 or 5 other factions that I haven't even mentioned that are equally as cool. None of them are the good guys. The tagline for it is "In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium." What's it? There is no. There's no something, only war. But whatever. Essentially, it's a bad place to be. Especially if your name is Dinkland. You know, we've all met a Dinkland in our life at one point or another. And if you're trying to tell me that you haven't, then you're Dinkland. Sorry. One of us had to be Dinkland, and it's not me, buddy. Um, do you ever take a step back and then just like, what the hell did I just say? I don't know. Looking at my notes, I did the boonga badinga. Oh yeah. Um, Let me smoke this first, and then I'll tell you a story of how I had to fucking throw a dead squirrel as hard as I could about 2 days ago as of recording this. And then the sippy sip sap. So, it's Friday. No, it's Saturday, Friday, Thursday. So it's either Thursday or Wednesday. Um, I wake up at like around, it doesn't really matter when. One of the first things I do is I go outside and just like throw the ball for my dog Jill. Play outside with her for like maybe 5-10 minutes. Come back inside, go downstairs to see the other dog Jack. Talk to my mom. My dad is in the shower. That is the setting. As I'm leaning down petting Jack, I look over to see Jill, who's all excited, happy, wagging, walking around, strutting. We didn't bring in anything other than... she didn't find the ball on the last one I threw, so she just came back in empty-mouthed, because she doesn't have hands. We both went downstairs, like nothing should be expected. I'm like, hi, Jack, petting him, talking to Mom. I look over, see Jill. She's got a squirrel toy in her mouth. I'm like, oh, that's new. It looks really realistic, but obviously it isn't. But it looks like those are like I can see the fingers on that thing's hand. And then I'm like, that that looks like a really like where did you get that? And then she looks over like, what do you mean? then which is my key in to the fact that it is a real squirrel. It is a dead squirrel. It is a dead squirrel that has been in this room for who knows how long. And also, the most important fact, it is a dead squirrel in Jill's mouth. So I'm just like, Jill, drop, and fucking take it from her. Just like, oh, God, it's not... I don't want to think about what temperature this is. It's stiff as shit. I open the door, fucking go back outside, just fucking launch it. It fucking cartwheels through the air. Hits the roof of a shed we have in our backyard. And then just like rolls off the other side into the other fence area that the dogs can't get into. And like that was maybe the third thing I had done as like something you could write down on a list of things you did that day from waking up. Number 3 was chucking a dead squirrel carcass. I didn't expect it. Mom definitely didn't expect it, and I definitely don't think the squirrel expected to have a post-mortem flight. And like I've somehow managed to forget that it happened like multiple times throughout the day. I was just like be doing whatever and like I threw a squirrel today and just start laughing. Fucking excuse me, wild. Also, this is gonna be going up on Sunday, as you already fucking know. Because I arbitrarily decided that during like series, I would just have Sundays off unless I had recorded a podcast. Just to kind of like talk to you guys in the most current version of me you're most likely to get on the channel, honestly. Most of the videos I post are like edited and filmed weeks before they go up. Or at least for series are. If it's like a weekend upload batch, those are less long. But, speaking of those series that are going, Banjo-Kazooie. As I'm recording this, which episode was that? The Mad Monster Mansion episode went up about an hour and a half ago. And I'm like, I don't want to complain because I don't feel like I have a right to, but I want people to watch these because I genuinely think they are funny, otherwise I wouldn't have posted them. But, like, I don't know. I want to feedback. I want to know if people like them. I want to know if they are funny to people who aren't just me. But I only have like 30 something subscribers. Not complaining again. I just am. This is the reality I currently exist in. So I just gotta keep on chugging in. Don't know why I did that. I think you guys are gonna... I don't know where that thought was going. So, new sentence. I have an idea for a solo series I would do, and then also make that, like, while recording that series, I would be gathering footage and ideas to write the script for, like, a actual, like, YouTube video with, like, a script and shit, and a, like, point. It's not just me and maybe a friend going through a video game, making, like, I add jokes and make it not boring to watch if I can. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because that wouldn't be fun for anyone. Uh, but I think it's since I played the game for the first time, I had the idea, or since I saw someone play it for the first time, and I don't know if anyone's done it. I haven't looked it up or anything, but I think it would be a really fun idea to A, do, and then B, just see what happens. So yeah, stay tuned for that because I'm excited for that idea. I just don't know how hard it's gonna be to do because it'll probably be solo because Dan lives counties away. um, but yeah, we got stuff coming on the EU. Sorry. We got ideas. I'm kind of riding the high of like having videos come out every day, but like you guys can see how many videos are in the playlist. So like there are only 12 videos of Banjo-Kazooie. And then like once that's done, I got God of War to finish with Dan. We only have like 7 episodes of those edited as of now. And haven't fucking played it in forever at this point, like months and months. But I have no intention on giving up on either of those games. The only game I've given up so far was From Dust because I wasn't having fun anymore, and I didn't feel like it was translating to good. Like I don't know. If I'm not enjoying it, I don't think it's enjoyable to watch, unless I'm really not liking it in a funny way. If I get like funny mad, I can work with that. If I just get mad, then it makes everyone uncomfortable. um, but I have a decent threshold. It's just like when things are out of my control or not conveyed properly. I don't know. But I feel like that's enough. I can vamp a bit more. I feel like a near-death story is worth waiting for. Oh, another quick thing that I have. While I was in Arizona, we went to the Grand Canyon on like the last. No, it was the first day we got there because it was on the way to the reservation. Stopped by the Grand Canyon. I didn't have a tent or hammock or anything but like a sleeping bag. So I just slept on a table for like 2 nights, I think. And was told in the morning of one of them that a coyote was just sniffing my head during the night. So that was cool. I made a friend. Fucker still hasn't called me back. You think you know a guy. Pfft, typical. All men are dogs, am I right, ladies? So that could be considered a time I almost died. Another time that could be considered a time I almost died would be potentially the time as This isn't the time I definitely did. One time, probably close to middle school, or like maybe 2 years before middle school age. Power's at 30% warning I just got, so I guess I'll start driving back now, and this will be me finding out if it works good, or how the audio sounds, and all that shit I said earlier. And also, I guess, just see how stable this camera is. So, at that age I had just previously given you, I burped, and that's the whole story. I thought I was scared shitless, dude. I thought I was gonna die. Alright. I'm gonna hold the camera for this part, specifically because this is the very same... How do I hold you? This is the angle we're working with right now. This is the road that made me buy this microphone last time, because I was driving on, it was just bumpy audio the whole way. So I was like, fuck that. Getting something better for this. And I wanted to buy like the little TikTok microphone that you could just use as a fucking lavalier, put it on your shirt. But Walmart lied! They said they had it, but they didn't have it. So I bought this instead. And it kind of works, but only if you have the thing plugged in correctly. Apparently. Fucking sue me. Anyway, I was like pre-middle school age, and me and Dan, my banjo conspirer, were like playing with chalk or something, I believe, outside in the front, like cul-de-sac area. I'll just keep holding it for the rest of it, fuck it. No, I need to know if it's how the audio sounds. If it sounds terrible, I'm gonna cut away, like I said earlier. But I don't want to have to cut away, so I'm just gonna hold it and then use that to know. Yeah. Me and him were playing with chalk or something. I had the banger idea for a joke, which would be like, oh dude, what if I opened my mom's trunk and then like got in the back of the car and then closed it while going, goodbye cruel world? That'd be so funny. And then like we'd laugh and laugh. He and we would laugh. It's a hint for a story that Dan wrote one time, but anyway, that's not the story. Anyway, so I did that plan, got in the trunk, closed the door, quickly realized, or as far as my little baby brain could realize, there is not a door handle on the inside of the trunk. I am now trapped and panicking in like under 0.5 seconds. Quick switch up of the vibes, some might say. So Dan, I don't know what he was doing on the outside. I don't think I've ever like asked him, but if I have, I've forgotten what his answer was. All I can remember is hearing him go like, I thought we were just playing with chalk, while I'm on the inside of the trunk going like, Dan, help! Eventually, I have honestly still no idea how long I was in that trunk. It was just like timeless panic until the moment was over. His mom, like, had come outside for whatever reason. Maybe she was signaled, I have no idea. I was distraught. And the like, that's all the drama and fun of the story. Pretty much after that, I was taken to my mom and then, like, comforted, I assume. Because my dumbass fucking locked myself in a trunk. And, like, I don't even have any claustrophobia still or anything from that, which, like, would make sense. Like, maybe if I get kidnapped and thrown in the trunk now, I would be a little bit more scared than I would if I didn't have that experience as a kid, but I feel like that's already enough of a situation to not need to worry about, like, what else is going on. Speaking of that, though, what the fuck is this guy doing? That is a green light, and we are going 15 miles an hour towards it. Fucking Priuses. I don't remember if I said this in the last episode, but the only stereotypes you should invest in are car owner stereotypes, because that is a choice. Most of the time. There are financial restraints and stuff, but, like, there's a general ballpark you can go for. I assume. I only had, like, I'm gonna cut off there. I don't know enough about what I'm saying. Yeah. So those are most of those stories. I just remembered I gave a random shout out to Tony Shalhoub. Did I even explain who that is? He's the actor from the, like, show Monk, which I didn't watch, so I just know him as he's in it. But for a movie I did know him from, he was Minion in the, I almost said Despicable Me. Not that. Spy Kids. He was the one that eventually had, like, the other heads grafted to him. That guy. He has a funny name. Fucking Tony Shalhoub. Shout out, dude. Represent. Here's a picture. Now I have to fucking edit a picture. Why did I do that? You don't see a picture. Google it. I'm not doing that. Fuck you. I might do it. You know, I'm sorry. Here's a picture. It's a shame that I couldn't convince my friend Jake to do a podcast episode with me at 2 a.m. earlier today for me. Because that was, like, peak funny tired moment. I can't recall anything I said, and it probably wasn't funny even if I tried to repeat it. But I was wheezing a good couple of times while we were playing Rocket League. Which is a game that I want to, like, make video, or, like, I want to do, like, a highlight funny moments type video with that, but those videos are intimidating to make, because I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get to a funny moment. And also, me and him get, like, mostly me, super salty at, like, playing that game. So, I don't know. But, I don't know. If there's any interest, let me know in the comments and I'll consider it. Beyond that, I've wasted enough of your time, like, stringing you along with my non-death story. And I need to tell this story because it was, like, the centerpiece of the thumbnail I already created for the video I had to scrap. So, at one point in our life, at the house I live at still. Okay, that's a good angle. Hold that, Adam. Thank you. We had an above-ground pool that was, over time, more or less and less used, and more overrun by hundreds and thousands of frogs and their spawn. I think we had 1 year where they did a full, like, life cycle, and it just, like, erupted in frogs and toads. out of like the above ground pool we had. And the next year, my dad was like, all right, we're clearly not using this enough. And the frogs are gone now, so I think it's time for the pool to join them and also be not in this backyard anymore. So eventually the day came, and it was kind of like a spectacle event, I guess, because how often do you get to see a pool get popped and just a small flood of water go... not often, I would assume, is the answer for most of us. So, our backyard is, like, not super huge, but it's big enough to consider it in, like, 3 quadrants. There's, like, upper part, active hill, and then lower part. And there was, at that time, a log on, like, the hill, like, sticking long ways up. That way it's not rolling down, because obviously it would have done that by then. And the pool was at the top of the hill, so I was like, I want to see the water flow down from a cool perspective. I don't know what age I was at this time either, but like less than 10 for sure. Or like barely close to 10. And I was like, but I don't want to get wet, so I'll just stand on top of this log. It's never moved in my entire active memory, which is probably better than it is now, so take that as you will, I guess. So I hop up on that log. My dad and everyone is positioned like up on the hill. And no one sees anything that's about to happen happening, otherwise it probably wouldn't have happened. But it did. And here's the events that happened. Pitchfork goes and punctures the pool. Bars alliteration, by the way. Sorry. There's like a second or two of like crisp laminar flow where it's just like you can't even tell that it's moving water. It's just that satisfying, like, ah. And then like the whole fucking thing just popped open like the fucking dam of Isengard after Treebeard released the river. And pseudo tidal wave careens its way into the log I'm standing on, immediately topples me over, and then proceeds to somehow, with enough force on impact, like hit the log, depress it into the ground, and then like bounce it up over me or something, because that's the only circumstance in which it could have been the reality we are in, because I'm still alive. Because that log, by all rights, should have fucking rolled over, but knocked over me with the, like, all the water and everything, and, like, my fragile little baby kid skull. I, by all rights, should have just gotten crushed by that fucking thing. But I didn't, so that's good for you guys and me, I guess. In the short term, so far in the long run, I guess. You guys want to see what my fucking computer lock screen is? I don't think you'll ever see this otherwise. That cursed fucking creation. Fuck it, let's do a little room tour to end the podcast. Oh! You can't really see that. Those are the books I was talking about or one of. I bought them since in a hardback cover. Yeah, those are the Inheritance series. They're big books. Also, we got the little, like, Lego Eevees behind, or in front of all the, like, most of the Berserk things. My brother's book, which I still haven't read yet, which I feel bad, but Despite having not read it yet, I voiced a couple characters in the audiobook he is like also doing for it. Um, some art that my friend drew. Shout out Sam White. Um, Other art wall. Those are shirts that didn't fit well, so I was like, I'll take the art, throw it on cardboard. We got some stuff on the ceiling. Shout out Pride Month. Um, Shout out to Super Smash Bros. Supreme. uh, Can't forget the this fucking little creep. Skull, skull over there, skull right there, skull down there, skeleton gnome, some masks and shit, big ass bong. There's some art I did. Angles are hard in reverse. Some art I did. Hello. This was advertised as Knuckles on Amazon. This was a gift. This fishing line is stuck into that branch. Like it grew into it. And that's John. And for a little D&D thing that my brother was the DM for, I don't know if it's canceled or not. This was my barbarian character, who you cannot see that well. He has a banana for scale. He is big. I don't think I finished the story. I think I got distracted immediately. Pretty much after I got knocked over and the log rolled down. One of my parents ran down and grabbed me and made sure I was alive and safe, and then I was, and that was it. You guys want to see my dogs real quick? Then we'll end the episode. Yeah, okay. Dog time. Jack and Jill, you guys want to be on a podcast? Puppies. This is Jill. This is Jack. They are my loves. I love them. Hello, baby. Ooh, you boy. The man. Oh, the girl. I think this is the best note to end this on. 3 hot. I have to bleep that. Okay. We will see you guys next time. Isn't that right, everyone? Say goodbye. Bye-bye. We love you.